So this muslin is ready for the back. And the back, the same way, we draw the lengthwise line 1 inch from the edge of the muslin. So this line indicates the back, center back. Draw the lengthwise line for center back, 1 inch from the torn edge of the muslin. Then measure from the top edge of the muslin 3 inch down and mark it. Mark it as the neckline at the center back. Then we measure neckline to shoulder blade level line and mark it at the center back of the muslin. Through this point, draw a crosswise line, indicate the shoulder blade level line. Okay. Then we measure from the center back to the ridge of armhole along the shoulder blade level line. And plus 1/8 for ease, plus 1/8 for ease, and mark it. And mark it. Then from this point, measure 1 1/4 toward the center back and mark it. Through this point, draw a straight line. Draw a lengthwise line. Draw a lengthwise line. Indicate the lengthwise, and also we call it a T-line at the back. As we draw the guidelines for the back, we could start to drape. The first, we also need to fold back 1 inch extension at the center back. First, pin the shoulder blade level line at the center back. And pin the neckline. Use 2 fins to fix the point, the shoulder blade level line at the center back. Pin the neckline at the center back. And pin the shoulder blade level line at the armhole ridge. Okay, so far, we need to check whether the muslin straight down like a box on the form. Okay, now we can notice that the muslin straight down. The center back of the muslin aligned to the center back of the form. So that means that the muslin is like a box on the form. We could continue. So just now, we give 1/8 for ease at the shoulder blade level line. So we should distribute the ease evenly at the shoulder blade level line. Normally, there is no ease at the first 1/4 inch. Also, there is no ease at the 1 inch to the center back. Okay. And then we establish ease evenly at the shoulder blade level. Okay, so we start to drape the neckline and the shoulder. So as you know, we will connect the back and the front at the shoulder line. So as we drape the back, we will use the shoulder line of the front. So we need to fix the shoulder part of the front. Okay. So that we could drape the back shoulder line. Okay. Like that. Okay, the same way, cut rectangular 1 inch above the neckline. So clip in, smooth up along the neckline. Clip in, smooth up the neckline. Then pin the intersection of neckline and the shoulder line. Pin the intersection, neckline and the shoulder line. Okay. And hold up the fabric, smooth up to the shoulder, and pin the shoulder line at the armhole ridge. So you can notice there is excess fabric at the shoulder. So normally we give a pitch for ease at both sides of the dot, shoulder dot. A pitch for ease at both sides of the dot. Okay, then pick up the excess fabric and pin them together, match to the dot at the front. Okay. Pick up the excess fabric and pin them together. It comes into a shoulder dot, and the position is match the dot at the front. Okay. After we finish draping the above of the shoulder blade level, we continue to drape under the shoulder blade level. The first, we need to straight down the T-line, pin the T-line at the waistline. So make sure the T-line straight down and pin the straight line at the waist. And we also could pin the center back at the waist. Then we need to pin the side seam. Before we pin the side seam, we need to release the side seam for the back. So leave the side seam about 1 inch. We use pins to fix the part, the side seam of the front. Then we release the side seam for the back. Okay, the side seam of the front is ready for the back. So we need to check the balance. And as we know, we connect the front and the back at the side seam together. So we could pin the side seam at the front and the back. Pin the front and the back along the side seam together. Pin them together. And pin the waist point. Pin the waist side seam at the waist together. Okay, so let's check whether the edge of the side seam is parallel. Pin the front and the back at the intersection of side seam and bottom together. Pin the intersection side seam and the waist together. Then check the edge of the muslin. So now the edge of the muslin is parallel. So that means this line is perpendicular to the floor, straight down. So it's okay. After we pin the side seam together, and we can notice there is a pitch of ease at the waist, and there is excess fabric at the waist. We pin the excess fabric at the waist. It comes a dot, a waist dot at the back. Okay, so far we almost finished draping the back. Before we remove the muslin to the table, we need to mark the important point and the lines, just like the front. Okay, so we need to mark the neckline. Cross mark the intersection neckline of center back. Dot along the neckline. Dot along the neckline. Dot along the neckline. Cross mark the neckline. Cross mark the neckline and shoulder line. Cross mark the dot at the shoulder. Cross mark the dot of the shoulder line. Cross mark. Cross mark the shoulder point. Then we need to mark the waist. Cross mark the center back at the waist. Dot along the waist. Cross mark the dot leg and the waist. Another side. Cross mark the waist and the dot leg. Dot along the waist. Dot along the waist. Dot along the waist. Okay, so that's it. After we marked, we could remove the fabric on the table.